Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to wait about 2 more minutes before we get started officially. But while we're waiting for some additional folks to join in and for 305 to come, if you have not already, and there's different people in the room here today, I always like to encourage folks to introduce yourself in the chat so you can put your name, any social media handles you have, as well as website links, all of those elements to help you. Yeah, just start and continue building community in this way. We're really excited that today is day 13 of 24. It's so interesting, I would say, when Ryan came to me and said, October is Small Business Month. Let's do something that we have never done before, something that's going to be different. Make a commitment for 24 days. I was like, what now? Including Saturdays and Sundays. And then I was telling my family about the session today as well. And they were like, but today's a holiday. I said, we didn't really factor in holidays, right? We're showing up, we're delivering, we're having a good time, helping business owners. So I definitely want to say, I love the challenge. I've embraced the challenge. And I'm hoping that each of you, whether you're here with us today or you've been with us on this journey thus far, or you're looking, future state as well. Um, this is all to help us get reconnected and understanding to about our foundation as business owners. And for those that are just starting out, hopefully giving you lots of good insights to begin your journey strong. In particular, for those that are running business, who I know the majority of the people who have come out to these sessions, you fall into that space, really a chance for you to re-engage in a more effective way with what you're going to do after you've been putting these pieces together, right? Hopefully, a lot more clarity comes your way, a lot more decision making in terms of being, more decisive, if I could put it like that, in terms of moving the dial for your business. But know that you are definitely in the right room. So we're going to get started. I just want to quickly introduce myself. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Crispet Cowie. I am the founder of Empowered for X, a business training and consulting firm supporting entrepreneurs from ideation to commercialization. What we love to do is ensure that entrepreneurs have a home and a place to start strong, and we provide services with our virtual offices, but not only starting strong, but ensuring that you have momentum. And that's where our marketing agency comes into play, where we support entrepreneurs by with lead generation. We build a lot of funnels from our web developers to designers and content writers. We're able to help you um, be more specific in terms of attracting those clients. And one of the things when companies and individuals come to us, sometimes they want to do their whole brand, and we can definitely support with those elements. But when we're really our approach more specifically is looking at a very targeted approach, identifying a core service, core problem, core solution, and being able to build out funnels to help in that way. So I'm really excited. Today is day 13 of our 24-day series, and today we're going to be talking about competition. If you're like me, sometimes I'm like, I don't have competition, right? I'm in this. I know where I want to go, and I'm gonna keep building momentum. So I really look at competition with kind of two lens, right? Understanding that I am not in the space, one of the spaces that we operate in, the virtual office space. I will tell you, we were not the first, right? Virtual offices have been in existence for a number of years. And in Canada, there are some big players, and there's some new players, and there's some intermediate players. And so, what I love about people that have been in this space, it's demonstrating to me that there is a market, there is a need, and it is so important for us to understand what's been happening. Is there demand? Is that demand growing? And we talked a little bit about that yesterday when we looked at industry growth. And it is important for us to know what's happening in the industry and then who are those key players in the industry as well. So today I want to do a little bit of a recap. Um, about the market research that we did yesterday. I see Anne and Bernadette on. Um, and I was just curious. I know it's the weekend. I know things are busy. I was curious if you had a chance to go and play with or utilize ChatGPT or Perplexity accordingly. Bernadette, the same question for you as well. And if anybody else was on the call. If you had a chance to do something with the tool, any findings you would like to share with us, that would be greatly appreciated. And I see your hand is raised.
I haven't had the opportunity to get that done yet, but definitely before this session is over, I'm definitely going to go check both of them out and see which is good, and then I'll definitely have feedback from you for you guys
Hey,
once I got that done. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get it done on tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday, probably Wednesday session. I can
hey,
have some feedback about that.
perfect. Not a problem at all. And we look forward to hearing from you in that way.
All right,
Um,
cool.
yeah, and really, again, we've given the tool insights, all of those things, really just coming, wanting to hear if you've been able to utilize those elements, right? Bernadette, how about yourself? I know you were heading to many dinners yesterday, so if you didn't, that's totally fine as well. I know it is. I value people who shown up with us. As you know, on Saturday when I had my own family dinner, it was like, I gotta go do a lesson and I'll be coming back to dinner. So I understand. But what I will do, and Ryan, I do believe you've given me permission to share my screen. I will just um yes, thanks as well, Cher. I see that you're in the room as well. Yes. Lots happening this weekend. It's okay. There's lots of grace where I'm sitting for everybody on this call. Um I'm just going to um share my screen. Okay. So yesterday, what we did, uh, and it's relevant to where we're going, right? We're talking about, so yesterday we spent some time, I believe you can see my screen. I have both Perplexity and um, ChatGPT's result based on the industry questions that we had proposed to them in that way. Today, where we're going to be sitting is in the area of um, key players, key competitors in that way, right? So you can go back to this initial prompt and see, who did they show, who are they pointing out? So here you could see it highlighted some national brands, which I am aware of. Also highlighted some local brands. Um, Also, it was not necess new stuff. As I said, we've been doing market research about our own companies in this way, and really just wanting to figure out how are they positioned, what are they doing, and so that's where we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into an example that I would like to show you all. So that was ChatGPT's result. The result on the right side of my screen is Perplexity's result. So I was not familiar with Workplace K. So again, learning some new folks in this way as well was which is interesting. Regis is actually a global brand around and we work as well in the virtual office space as well. And similar to how Empowered Flex is structured, they have those offices, which then not only facilitates, the dedicated rooms, but it also facilitates the virtual offices where I was sharing with folks yesterday. That's where one of our core offering and really our objective now is figuring out how we expand and grow We currently have three locations in Canada, all of them in Ontario, Brampton, Scarborough, and Ottawa, and we're looking to expand as well. So this research that we did around virtual market space is around the virtual office space. It was insightful, and as I said, I've given the prompts. You all can just go and have conversations with the tool, see what comes up, tell it that you're looking to do some research and see what you find. So today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. So I'm going to share with you all a tool that we use here at Empowered Facts when we conduct market research for folks, in particular around the competitor landscape, right? This tool is called our industry and competitor dashboard. It is what we typically would give our clients, and I will put a link into the chat for this for you all, whereby you can, fill in the information, get the information for yourself. The next iteration of it is to, as I was sharing yesterday, Anne, is for us to build out our own GPT so people can just come to the GPT and it will be able to do these types of research for you as well. So to dive right in, the example, and this is an example of our competitive dashboard. I'll go through all of the columns first and then kind of show you some of the things that we found. So this example is a client that we had is was looking to set up an AI receptionist service, and with that, we began our work, right? So we talked a little bit about the industry elements. We talked about yesterday, we talked about industry, and you could see that on the bottom of the tab here, we have that industry report that we would have one pull from the tools, but also some of the work that we did through Industry Canada and other places like that as well. So where we're going to look at today is the competitive analysis dashboard. And so when we think about competition, I don't think I was a baseball fan as I know I'm not a baseball fan as Ryan. I started learning some terminologies, right? He often talks about the big league, little league, and the minor league and the peewees and all of this stuff. So I kind of adopted some of those terminologies when we're talking about our competitive dashboard, right? I think the same kind of rule applies. So we have the major leagues. Who are those major players that are dominating the space? Um, and if we're honest, I mean, some businesses are new and novel, but what you would want to still identify whether or not they are direct competition or indirect competition, right? So here it is. We're talking about AI generated reception. One of the indirect searches that can be done in for this as well is looking at who currently has dominance and prominence as it relates to regular call centers, reception service, all of those things, right? We know the market is changing, and for this client, what we decided to do was just focus on AI reception specifically in that way, AI versus just human only. And so when we think of our competition, we want to know the big league players, we want to know the minor league. And if you're just starting out, you go into that, peewee startup, stage of the game in this way. And it's good to know, right, where you sit in terms of dominance and prominence in your market space. And sometimes if you're just thinking local, obviously there's local implications. If you're thinking national, global, you just have to be mindful about how you're wanting to position your brand in order to do a better or deeper analysis. My invitation always is like, look outside, like much bigger. Look, you could even do research in that indirect market to see maybe they have similar features, not specifically what you're trying to offer, but how are they capturing the same clientele, perhaps, right? So that's really important in that way. So on this spreadsheet here, what you would see, the categories that we normally gauge for is who are the competitors, right? We want to know who they are. We want to be able to document all of the information about them. So that's what this document does. So we look at their URL. We want to understand the category of service that they are delivering to the public. We want to know if they are a direct or indirect competitor, right? The other thing is we want to capture their business description. How are they talking about themselves? Who do they serve, right? We also want to look for key messaging and positioning of their brand. And this is just, again, this work that you're seeing here, I will invite all of you. This competitive dashboard has, I think we did 10 or 11 of these for this client. You could do five, right? You don't have to do a lot, but it is important to do this work, right? Looking at the types of services and solutions they offer, the price point, because again you may be thinking, okay, where do we sit as it relates to our pricing versus our competitors in that way? Where are they located? As I shared earlier, sometimes you may be looking at a specific geographic location, or you may also be thinking global, right? Who globally? And because that out of country, market research, I oftentimes encourage it just to see how people are doing it in other parts of the world. It could give you new ideas and spark new ways of doing that work as well. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and we'll be diving into the SWOT analysis in full. But from a competitor's landscape, we want to be able to identify their strengths and their weaknesses, right? What are they really good at? Are we seeing gaps in their own marketing? And I will share with you, like, one of the things that we do is go to reviews, Google reviews. What are their customers saying? You could identify things that are being said that will give you sometimes opportunities to position your brand to say, we solve for X, right? Knowing that there may be some challenges in the marketplace. Keywords. I shared, and I think we're going to spend a little time in marketing later on, but in the next couple days. The keyword search is very important from a visibility standpoint, especially when you're thinking about search engine optimization, SEO, Google My Business, and the new ones, right? AEO, right? So looking at how artificial intelligence, the chat GPTs, the perplexities are finding and utilizing your name, your brand to tell people about a specific service in that way, right? We want to look at their social media. So we do um where they, I call it the digital real estate, or what does that look like? The website, where else can you find that specific brand? We want to understand, not just get the links, but how are they tracking, right? Number of followers, videos, likes, all of these things, and you'll see the specifics in each one. And then looking at digital advertisement. So we know that companies, your company even, have the opportunity to pay for ads. So we kind of just do an ad search to see if companies are paying for ads to help bolster, help, drive traction in that way. And then really looking at the content formats, right? So who are they target? It could be tied to the targeting, the way that they're messaging, what type of content they're putting out to attract their people. And then if there's any additional comments or findings. So this is our competitive dashboard. As you can see, it is very detailed, and this is an example for you. So we look at this. We also, and I shared this yesterday, and we started out with that. The second tab is around the industry analysis, as I shared with you all yesterday. And then the last one, and I'll just go to this very quickly. We look at all of the brands that exist in the marketplace from a competitive landscape, summarize the information, and then identify what the company, some areas whereby the company can differentiate themselves from their competitor, right? And this will again, it's just an example here of work that we've done, but you can see how we look at everything to come up with some recommended market positioning for the client in that way. So what I wanted to do now is just pause for a quick second. Based on what I've shared, I will go back through each column and kind of give some insights and things specifically about tools or things that we utilize to help us find this information. But I wanted to see if there was any questions, thoughts, thus far.
Perspeth, did you put this in the chat already? Maybe I missed it when I was on my phone.
No, I did
No.
not.
Okay, no worries.
No, I did.
So, yeah, just looking at it because it's very small on my screen, so I'm having
Oh,
trouble
I
reading.
could zoom in a little too.
Okay,
Sorry about that. Yes.
thanks. Okay, because I was trying to follow, but I didn't couldn't see some of the categories, but very in depth, very descriptive of everything that goes in there, and I can see where it would. Oh, that's better. Thank you.
Welcome.
I could
You're
see
welcome.
where filling it in would be very beneficial. But yeah, I would have questions about, I think you said you're going to go a little bit more in depth as to
Yes.
how you, like, if you're not a good market researcher, I mean, I'm decent, but where you would go to try to find some of this information at. So
Yes.
I'll leave it for you to go to that next step because that would be my question. I could find the URL because you can search for them, but as far as find out their competitors and the other market analysis ideas, I'd be interested to hear how we would go around to find that. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bernadette. Yes, I will go through each one and I will give some insights on in terms of how to find uh yeah, competitors, indirect or direct. Anyone else? Thanks for that, Bernadette.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah,
I was,
based on what I've shared so far, if there
yeah.
was any questions or, thoughts, concerns, yeah, just insights, anything that I've shared so far.
Yeah, I mean, like the deep dive that you guys just did, the slide on, it's really good because it allows you to look in specific areas, categories pertaining to a client. Like if my client came to me and I needed to do deep research or whatever, it's good to know that there are AI tools out there that you can use to either help you with your deep dive in what the client is looking for. Even it's good. It's just good to have it to my deep dive on the dashboard would be presidents and what is persuasive or binding in higher courts, right? So to have those presidents spread out in front of you to see, that would make the job quicker than going one by one, two by two. So yeah, that option is definitely a quick thing for us in the legal end.
Hey, thank you so much, Anne. And definitely with this tool and specifically how it's currently being used and how it's laid out. So the categories and stuff may not necessarily be fully relevant for client research. This is to understand industry research around your competitors specifically, right? So just how the framing of this dashboard is laid out for yeah, your competitors to see who else is in the game and how else you can begin doing that work. But when we get into the marketing section, I will be pointing out tools then to show for doing market research to find customers, ways and methods to do that specifically. Shirley, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, thank you. So I hope I didn't miss this, and maybe it's in the last tab for competitor profile. But my question is, I think it was because you said like you guys have an office here, Scarborough, Ottawa. I was thinking to myself, is that kind of important when we're collecting information about our competitors, where we can say, how big are they? How many employees do they have? What's their revenue? So, like, as if maybe it's something that we can target towards, or at least we're aware of how much of the market space they're actually taking up.
Yeah. So, and that's a great question, Shelley. And one of the things that I would say about what you're seeing in front of you, we do not go in depth in this way with this, in terms of, number of employees, their market share, but that's like next, right? Like that's where you would go to understand, okay, how did they get here? Maybe they've been running for, 50 years and have capitalized the marketplace over that number of time, all of those elements. The we talked yesterday about getting a library card, and what I would say is you could take these companies and go to the librarian and perhaps accessing the Scots directory, other directories to be able to understand the volume. I'm sure I have not done it yet, but I am sure you can put in these companies' names in there and ask the question, what is the size of the company? What are their revenues? And you probably will get research. Dun and Bradstreet would be another place that I would say you could go to they typically have a company profile whereby they do highlight those elements, right? Because every year we would hope for the most part most companies are doing that CRA reporting. Your financials are going somewhere, right? And so that information is public knowledge as well. So yeah, so Shelley, that's like version two of a more in-depth market research in that way. And I encourage it. Like if you have the time bandwidth, as I said, you don't need to do it for every competitor in the marketplace. Maybe identify one in each category, the major leagues. So who's dominating the marketplace right now? Then go to, okay, second tier, who's in that space, and just starting out in that way as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else before I go deeper? Okay, so I'll just take this first one. I'll take a direct competitor. So again, the just to give you some context, the client is in the business of AI reception, and they wanted to initially start out with serving clients in the real estate space as well as yeah, real estate was their main focus. So you will see that we wanted to identify direct people who also have a chatbot to help, in particular, real estate individuals, brokers, and agents to be able to be more efficient. So, and this comes back to the whole productivity conversation, right? Hey, can something take my calls so that I don't miss any calls? Can something book my meetings in order that I can do that, right? So Rechat is one of the examples that we would look at. And I'll just pull this up for example. One of the questions someone asked initially, where do you start, right? So this comes back to your industry elements. So hey, I'm gonna just put AI receptionist near me, right? Um, Google it. Near me is a strong keyword. It is one that I would say you want to do near me, you want to do it in general, see who comes up in that way, right? So at the top, we could see that telelink.ca is spending ads towards this. Ring Central also has AI receptionists. Um, yeah, and just go down. I always invite people based on your industry. So, and I don't know how you describe your legal service specifically, but put in your the way that you describe your business plus near me and see if you show up on first page. Bernadette, I would say the same thing, right? For everybody that's here, if you do virtual office Brampton, I would hope I know I show up. So I would hope that I show up, right? Like, but that comes with you putting out content. And yeah, I will invite you all. Search, see if you see Virtual Office Brampton, if you see Empowered Facts anywhere. Let me know. I don't, I think Regis is pretty high up there, but you will see that Empowered Facts is on the page as well, first page. Um, and I shared that with you all to say if we're doing market research about our competitors in our field, we want to be able to identify the offering and do near me and see what comes up, right? So you could see that's one way to understand who's in the game, right? So when we did that, we found WeChat as the example for this person. So to the question about how do you fill in all of the additional sections? Sorry, my computer is acting crazy. 1 second. Yeah, so to fill in all of the additional things, this is sometimes where we come back to reading what's on here. So we'll spend some time, my team, and again, as I shared earlier, I have not put in our methodology into chat. We are working to create a GPT to do this level of research for our clients. So you could just come and put in your industry and we can help to source and find all of this information. And one of the ways that we're also doing it is the tool will be able to read through the website and identify keywords, key all of the elements that we want to know to be able to tell the customer this is the work that your competitor is doing and how you could be positioned differently or stronger, right? So these guys have an award. We're reading through, we're going through all of the different elements of their website to identify some of the keywords, right? So this is literally, and yesterday I was talking and sharing, it used to take us about 6 to 8 hours to complete this type of work. The first part yesterday I shared, simplifies our work. We still go through verifying different components of it, but the stage that we're doing today does take time, right? We are opening up Google library, ad library, all of these things to see what is visible in that way. So the invitation is spend time on your competitor's website, read what they're doing, right? If I put read chat, copy, I'll just put it in. So read chat. So you will see that, read chat is getting a 4.8 review. They have 42 Google reviews. We would open this up as well and read through it. My computer is a little slow. Too many tabs open. um, Joyce. Just closing some windows to see if that would help. Okay, so again, you want to open up the reviews of your competitor and just see what people are saying, right? This is just to give you some insight about what they're doing well, but in the way that, people are going to be talking about specific things that if you're building a new tool or you're optimizing your existing tool and methodology, you want to make sure something that this customer says. The platform provides everything we need from a robust marketing center to a reliable CRM, right? Maybe your tool is not doing all of those things, but this is what people care about, right? This person here. And I'm sure there's many people like them, right? So we want to be able to pull out stuff that the competitor is doing well. And then we also want to see, right? We come to, so my Google, I don't know, review typically always brings up most relevant, which oftentimes is really positive. Newest, highest ranking, and lowest ranking we want to look at as well. So here it is a 1 star, right? We have some 1 stars. Strongly advise against this company, right? These things are important because we want to know what the complaint is. So when we're delivering our service or tool or product in that way, we want to make sure that we are not repeating somebody else's errors. Right. So this is how we sit and utilize Google in as part of our market analysis from a competitive landscape. I'll come back here. So again, with the, let me just pull this down. Yeah, so with the reach out, the URL, the category, and again, we were able to identify that they were in real estate, technology in specific, right? They are reaching out to realtors, and that's where my client wanted to reach. Hey, I want to reach out to these folks. So we're just learning, right? I shared this yesterday. You as the business owner should be the subject matter expertise for your product and or service. When we take on the researcher hat, I have some experience in real estate, but I have not spent time in there, nor does my team. So we're taking a fresh look, right, to see who's doing what are they doing well, and when we come and present to you, it's now to be able to say, listen, this is what we found. And here are some suggestions for making yourself and your brand stand out a little bit more. Bernadette, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, thanks, Chris Beth. My question was, in those reviews, I mean, there could be, that's again, another time to look through things. Can you take that review, throw it in the chat GPT and ask it to pick out stuff?
Of course. And this is
Okay.
the beautiful thing, right, Bernadette? All of this stuff that we're doing, and again, we want to gauge the tool, to be able to pull in factual information. The more information that we give the tool, the
Mm,
better it is able to give us more factual information as well, right? So,
okay.
hey, I have the Google link. I have whatever data you could input, it will help produce a better output for you. And I don't say always take the first thing,
No.
but the tool is strengthening itself to be able to produce better quality work. And the truth is, Bernadette, it saves a lot of time. Like
Yes. Mhm.
time that you would sit and again, as I said to you, I will be sharing this spreadsheet with you all, but you can go to ChatGPT and prompt it for all of these points. Hey, I'm looking for direct competitors. Can you provide their business description? Tell me a little bit about them. Who do they serve? And you will get an output, right? Um, so I think part of, today and probably for just being mindful of time, I could send you a potential prompt pulling these elements out to put into chat that you can have as well, right?
Yeah.
So we looked at their website again. The one that I would say is this client that we had really trying to figure out how to position their brand. And you can see what this competitor is saying, the trusted platform for elite real estate brokers, right? So how do you define elite real estate brokers, right? Maybe there's a top tier real estate broker that they are attracting into their space. we wouldn't know until we do great more research in that way. But they are saying who they want to serve as well in that one statement, right? Um, and they are also pointing out, things about the platform, right? AI Copilot Lucy powers productivity and personalization for your business. And the truth is, when we'll talk a little bit about SEOing in the weeks to come, or days to come, I should say. But really looking at, if you look at a competitor's website and you're seeing words repeated, knowing that it's written in such a way to help them rank for those elements as well, right? So I'll just skip over to some of the keywords for this guy. Um, Keyword search, uh, looking at tagging this is just related to how they were using the keywords in that way. AI virtual tours, being able to add tag. So I'll go back to their website and see how that shows up. So one of the things, just put this. My computer is slow. Let me just close one of these screens, see if it will help. All right, I'm just gonna put something into Chat GPT. For some reason, my screens are not loading properly. Um, but yeah, it's like page unresponsive. Um, yeah, I will encourage you all, and I'm just not to waste time for the page to reload. But what I will encourage is that you all take these, and I'll put the link to this in the chat. Um, yeah, I thought stop. When you're doing multiple things on your computer and it's acting crazy, just stop doing one major thing, and see if it will help in that way. I will also open this as well. Copy or share.
It's requesting access.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
just
Oh, you're
changing
doing
that
that
right.
now. Okay, I see you
Yeah,
now. That's
yeah.
why you say
So
we're
so you should
multitasking.
be able to view if you refresh it. And what I will say is just go file, make a copy, right? And then you can utilize it that way. So file, make a copy, and the sheet is yours to use. Oh, Shay, I see that you put empowered in the chat. We're fourth. Hey, that's awesome. Thank you uh for supporting us in that good search. What I will say, we've been in business around virtual office for the past 6 years. And so that did not happen overnight, right? And so my invitation to all of you is that we need to be producing content that is going to help us show up for the service that we're doing. So Bernadette, if I do bookkeeping Nova Scotia, am I going to find you? You're muted.
I said I'm going to do it and see. I don't think I'm really not.
Okay.
I'm not really not active online, so I don't think I'll come up. But hey, you never
Okay.
know.
And that's okay. If you just sometimes I say go to, maybe you come up on maybe page 6 or page 7. Find
Yeah.
yourself if possible. If not, it just comes back to, hey, I know the first place I will tell entrepreneurs to start is to make sure that their website is search engine optimized. And if you
Mhm.
don't know what that is or don't know how to do that, we do that as a service for folks, right? It is important. It will help you rank in that way. Um, and we're talking about meta tags, all of these different things to help you show up online, right? And the second thing that I would then say to do is start making sure or make sure that your website has a blog section that you could keep contributing to the conversations accordingly also. When version one of our website, I will say we're really proud of it. My marketing coach, I might have shared that earlier, had said, hey, write 10 blogs. And out of the 10 blogs, one blog worked so well for a number of years for us. And that blog was ranking even higher than our homepage, right? And so I would, for us, when we re-looked at our homepage, we were not really talking about virtual office specifically. So it wasn't ranking, right? So it makes sense. And so as a brand, we want to make sure if, especially if you're doing multiple services, you want to make sure that you have a strong SEO plan for each of the service. And that's why I say with marketing for us, we to do market your whole brand requires a lot of content and capital, right? So, but if we're able to identify a core service, core problem, core, solution, we're able to then build out content to help with that market penetration. If you were to do marketing service Brampton, we probably would not rank. And I'll tell you that that is a conversation that I've done with my team. We do the work, but we have not produced much content. Like Anne, we've just been doing the work and not really, formalizing ourselves in that way. We do now have a web page and we're building our content to support in that way, but it is work, right? I come back to that for all of our brands. That is why it is better to have one versus 10, because you have to understand that for every core service, if you want it to be visible from a searchability standpoint, it does require work, additional work, right? I see Shelly and then Ryan. So Shelly, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so my question is based on the idea of when you put a hashtag, like you do a blog, you add a hashtag, is that basically all SEO basically is? And secondly, um, like how you just said, there's a marketing in Brampton isn't something that you initially focused on. But could you not like go back to previous blogs, add a hashtag there, and then help build up awareness? Or does that kind of out of pocket?
Yeah, so that and let me just double check when we're gonna do marketing in full. So I'll tell you, I don't want to give everything away today just for the sake of time. We have literally 9 minutes. Um, let's see where we are at. So October 15th, we are going to be spending some time in marketing. And what I will do, I will dedicate some time to SEO in that way. It's the hashtag is one way, right? To help people find, as you know, you could go to social media and put hashtag this and a bunch of things will come up, right? So that's one. But when we talk about search engine optimization in full, it is truly to get in the mind and heart of our customer. When people sit at their computer or with their phone, what are they typing in to find your solution or find a solution for the problem that they have? So I don't want to open up another spreadsheet to show you an example, but I'll make sure I have that ready for us for October 15th. It is the hashtag is one element. If you go back and you're now saying, okay, I'm going to add some content to past blogs that I've done now that I'm doing something different, put yourself in the customer shoes. When you show up at when the last time somebody showed up to you or was trying to sell you everything and the word that I oftentimes do, they vomited on you. They told you everything. You're just like, what? Where do I go? All of this stuff. It's confusing and messy. And oftentimes we would say no to that person. So when we're putting out communication, we want to ensure that it is specific and you're taking customers on a clear path forward, right? Yes, and I'll maybe what you do in addition is in alignment. And I'll give my example. We started out with virtual office as our main prominent stuff. We've been always been doing marketing in the back end, but it was not necessarily something that we say, hey, we want to lead in the marketplace in this. We understood when entrepreneurs came in our virtual office, they were identifying new needs that they had, and we were able to serve it through our marketing agency. So now, if in my virtual office blogs and content that exists, I'm now saying, and marketing too, that may be overwhelming to the customer because at that point in time, they may not be thinking about it. Are there ways to structure your content where, you know, a virtual office can do more than just provide you a home? Marketing service also exists. That's a bridging of the content, right? They show up for one thing, and this is where and this is why I come back to, we never want to overwhelm people with a lot of the content at once, but there may be opportunity to cross-sell and upsell them in that way. So that would be something for consideration in that way. I hope that was helpful a little, Anne, but we will dive into SEOing and stuff like that in the coming days.
Thank you. Yep.
You're welcome. Ryan.
Yeah, my question was about your SEO service and how much that costs and how to optimize my website in that way. But
We
yeah,
can have a conversation one-on-one. Typically, there is an onboarding type of setup fee, understanding the brand and all of these things where it's like, as I said, you're the subject matter expert, you're doing this stuff. We want to make sure that you have enough insight into what is happening in the marketplace. So we do some competitive analysis as part of our SEO strategy for you, right? That cost can range anywhere from 750 to 1,000 to just begin giving you an SEO plan, strategy, all of those things. It how our philosophy here at Empowered Facts is when you work with us, we want to make sure you have the capacity to do the work yourself, but we're always excited to do the work with you, right? Our saying is here, we support people from DIY to modify. DIY, do it yourself. Modify, make other people do it for you. And we raise our hands to say we want to do it for you in this way. And so once we identify where you're sitting, what is happening, we're then able to say, hey, if it is, we need to go in first and optimize all pages. So we're then doing an inventory of, okay, how big is your website? Is it 5 page, 10 pages? What does that look like or more? If you're saying, let's start with a few pages and then build gradually to begin doing momentum. That's an option for the website audit and things like that. And then subsequently, we're talking about new content. So sometimes people, like Shelly mentioned, we have existing content. And what we have found as part of our audits, oftentimes those content aren't optimized, meaning they aren't really written for Google searchers, right? A good website that we utilize that I will encourage everyone to go and use today. It's called Answer the Public. You get three free three free usages. Put in some keywords, see what comes up for you. But one of the good insights, and it is a tool that we do use, to help understand where the content could be framed and what people are searching. It's one of the tools. You will see that the types of questions people are asking. You will then see the types of searches that people are having as well, right? And so these are some of the things that we go step by step with you, but we're also giving you the ability, if you choose not to stay with us on a monthly basis, where it is on a subscription basis, where we're producing, we can do a lot of content for you, right? So little or a lot, and that really comes through our conversation. Thank you. Where is, oh, so Christopher's question in here. Let me see if I can do this. So let's see. And This is new for us, right? Let's do virtual office Scarborough. Let's see what comes up, Christopher. Let's see if we rank. So Regis, we know is there. Empowered for X is here as well, right? So one of the things that I would tell you as somebody who has location businesses, so the learnings. Each location that you have should have a unique account that's set up for each one. So we're currently in the process right now, and this is new developments as of 2 or 3 months ago. We got ourselves, how can I say it, Google verified in our other locations, right? So if you were to see there aren't any reviews, it's a new account. The same way we've been able to build our brand presence for Brampton, that's what we're now on track to do for other locations, right? And so it takes time, but you can see we're ranking, right? Which is people can find us if they didn't know Empowered Facts, if they come, you will see now we're like number 3 here, right? We're also showing up for content because one of the things that we also did on our website, we built out a dedicated space for sorry, a dedicated page for Scarborough. And if you look at the URL, it says virtual office in Scarborough, right? So like that's part of the SEO strategy, some inside Shelly in that way. So you want to tell people what they're seeing, where they're seeing it, and how they can see it, right? So those are some of the the methodologies for SEO, the SEO game. So I am mindful. I did get a little prompt. It is 4 o'clock. So as it relates to our topic today, yeah, really, the hope is when you get this document, begin. And as I said, you could literally feed these headers into chat and ask it to help you, right? You save a lot of time, energy in that way. The other piece that I shared, you could go into your library. Dun and Bradstreet does company profile. So if you want to know more about their history, how they started, all of those things, are they in the media? What bad press, good press they've had? You can learn these things, right? So I think out of all of the competitors, and I'll just end with this, you know, this brand here has over a strong LinkedIn game. So this comes back to you when you're looking at social media presence. Thank you for those of you who have to hop off. Um, Blessings to you and your family. And I will wrap it up quickly. You will see that when you look at these companies, they have social media presence on all of them, and then there's a few that have presence on others. This comes back to capacity, time, resources, all of this stuff, but it also should be grounded in the knowledge of the customer and the clientele. For us, our recommendation to this team that was just starting out, if you don't have the budget to be across all the social media platforms, select the one with the highest probability where your customers would be. And we had recommended LinkedIn for these guys. For yourself, it also matters, right? We cannot, depending on your capacity, you may not be able to maintain a presence effectively on all platforms. So select the one. But I always say secure all of your digital real estate. So go find your name everywhere, have the account. You don't necessarily need to use it today, right? So that's what I would end. And I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, sorry. Everything was good. I just wanted to know if the tool that you were using for this was in the chat and that website where we can go and look for and do the content check thing. Is that good day?
I did put the link to the spreadsheet in the
Oh,
chat.
okay.
I will put um, the link to answer the public, which was the link that I suggested to you all around. Why did that not work? What is that? Answerthepublic.com. Yes, this one. I love the tool. I I use it we use it, I should say, frequently. There are other tools, but yeah. Oh, Ryan, the search that I did for you is still in here. Yeah, so you can see um yeah, 12 days ago. But yeah, the tool keeps a record of what you do. As I said, in the free version, you can do 3 free searches a day on a specific topic, brand, all of those things, and see what comes up. The other one that we will talk about is like Google Console and all of those things, but for our later and another class. Folks, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. I hope this time was fruitful. Go and enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're doing. We're grateful to have you here. Find the gratitude and, keep doing the wonderful things that you're doing. So blessings to you and your family. And we will see you tomorrow, same time.